On Global TV News Express, Soludo declared winner in Anambra governorship election. In business, Nigerian seeks $500 million World Bank loan to boost small-scale businesses. On a foreign scene, Tanzanian police arrest opposition official after a deadly protest. In sport, Falconet crushed Ghana in Wafubi on the 20 opener. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world on News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and StarTimes, channel 276. And now the news in details. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has declared incumbent Governor Chukwuma Soludo of All Progressive Grand Alliance (APGA) winner of the Anambra 2025 governorship election. Soludo secured 422,664 votes to defeating closest rival Nicholas Ukachukwu of the All Progressives Congress, who scored 99,445 votes, while Young Progressives Party Paul Chukwuma came third.
I therefore declare that Soludo Charles Chukwuma of the APGA, I will satisfy the requirement of the law and score the highest number of votes in this election. Is hereby declared the winner and return elected.
Professor Omarige Eduba announced the results earlier Sunday after a peaceful but tightly monitored poll across all 21 local government areas. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Governor Chukwuma Soludo on his re-election in Anambra State, describing the victory as a reflection of visionary leadership and remarkable progress recorded under his administration. The president commended Soludo for bringing discipline, intellect, and accountability to governance, noting that Anambra under his leadership continues to shine as the light of the nation. Tinubu also praised the Independent National Electoral Commission for conducting a credible election and urged Soludo to do magnanimous in the victory while assuring him of the federal government's continued partnership. Major election observer groups have expressed concern over widespread vote trading and uneven distribution of security personnel during the Anambra governorship election, despite reports of peaceful voting in most areas. The observers have warned that these lapses could undermine the credibility of the exercise. Global Television's correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
As voting winds down across Anambra State, reports of vote buying and security gaps have dominated early findings from election monitors. The Center for Democracy and Development, CDD West Africa, says its observers recorded multiple incidents of votes trading across several local government areas, particularly in Anambra Central and Anambra South. Party agents were reportedly seen offering between 2,000 naira and 10,000 naira to voters, sometimes through mobile money transfers, and in some cases encouraging them to snap their ballots as proof before payment. The practice was allegedly carried out in full public view, with little deterrence from security personnel.
CDD also observed a high concentration of security officials, media, and election observers in polling units associated with popular political figures. In contrast, polling units with fewer registered voters showed inadequate security coverage, which aligns with 12.7% of PUs that had no security personnel present.
However, security presence itself became another area of concern. CDD and Kimpact Development Initiative both reported that while there was heavy concentration of police and other operatives in urban and high-profile areas, many ruling polling units had little to no security presence, creating fears of voter intimidation and potential interference. KDI revealed a troubling disconnect between the 55,000 security personnel announced for deployment deployments and their actual ground presence, noting that some polling stations had no officers as late as 10 a.m.
The Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security (ICES) announced the deployment of approximately 95,000 security personnel for the Anambra State governorship election across all 5,718 polling units. Field reports from our observers reveal a troubling disconnect between these figures.
The Center for Transparency Advocacy, CTA, also highlighted this uneven distribution with reports showing that 9% of polling units had no visible security presence. CTA expressed concern that such disparities could weaken voters' confidence and threaten the integrity of the process. Observers further pointed to cases of beavers malfunction, late arrival of materials, and low voter turnout, especially among youths and women, despite a generally calm atmosphere in most areas.
The inadequate welfare arrangement for police personnel deployed for the Anambra election by the police leadership. Some police personnel complained that they had nowhere to bathe and sleep and slept in open fields since they arrived at Anambra. Some also complained that they were yet to be paid their allowances, except the 1,000 budgeted for snacks for police by the INEC.
While commending INEC for early deployments in many polling units, the groups collectively urged stronger enforcement against vote buying, better logistics coordination, and equitable pace. As collation continues, all observer groups are calling on INEC and security agencies to ensure transparency in result transmission and protect the will of voters. From Oka, Anambra State, Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Brazil for Nigeria after representing President Bola Tinubu at the 30th United Nations Climate Change Conference, where he reaffirmed Nigeria's leadership in Africa's climate agenda. He participated in high-level sessions on forests, oceans, and carbon markets, highlighting Nigeria's climate financing potential of up to $3 billion annually. Shettima also joined world leaders in the launch of the Tropical Forest Forever Fund and pledged stronger global partnership for environmental sustainability. The federal government has warned against vandalism on the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway, describing the act as sabotage, threatening key national infrastructure. Minister of State for Works Bello Goronyo issued the warning during an inspection, lamenting damage to safety railings and theft of road materials by scrap collectors. He urged residents to take ownership of public projects and ensure their protection. The presidency says Nigeria has recorded an 81% decline in terror-related deaths since 2015. In a statement on its official X handle, the presidency said the progress reflects improved counterinsurgency operations and stronger cooperation among security agencies and affected communities. According to the presidency, over 13,000 terrorists have been neutralized in the past year, while more than 124,000 fighters and their dependents have surrendered to authorities. The Deputy Speaker of the Kebbi State House of Assembly, Muhammad Samaila Bagudu, has regained his freedom days after being abducted by suspected terrorists. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ahmad Idris, confirmed the lawmaker's release late Saturday, saying he has been reunited with his family. Though details of his release remain unclear, sources confirmed he was freed unhurt. Bagudu was kidnapped Thursday night in his hometown of Bagudu shortly after observing evening prayers. In a country where the internet connects millions to jobs, education, health, and other opportunities, the rising cost of data may poses a setback for national development in light of the spike in the cost of the internet connectivity that affects nearly every Nigerian. The silent impact be unimaginable if critical policies are not put in place to regulate the sector from standpoint of checking arbitrary pricing. Our correspondent takes a look at the high cost of data and its adverse impact on end users. Hunger news that Nigerians are struggling to survive in the midst of numerous economic challenges, with mobile network operators in the country systematically passing on operating cost of data consumers. In addition, the sudden increase on the cost of data subscription has gradually but steadily driven business, particularly those in the micro and small brackets, to the bricks. At the height of this, questions are being asked to determine major factors driving this astronomical cost increase. We speak to a cross section of Nigerians on the streets who share their views and experiences on this issue.
See, it's not that easy for us. So, if, like 2 years back or 3 years back, when I they use data, they enjoy the data. If you even buy like 5,000, you go use and they do watch YouTube, watch this. But now, just like I said, that they use straw, they suck the data.
Telecommunications operators recently made a strong case for an upward review of tariff cutting across calls, text messaging, and internet data services. These developments drawing criticism from subscribers as expected, seen at least 50% increase in this regard.
The cost is becoming so much that the normal Nigerian will not be able to afford. Please, the government should help us reduce it, and I think by that way, most little business that is trying to come up can go up.
Apparently, access to affordable internet is directly linked to economic growth, education, as well as success to robust healthcare services. It is often said that when people cannot afford data, they may not also be able to access knowledge, find remotely work, or sell online. As the maximum goes, the cost of data is the cost of opportunities.
It's crazy, especially when you're using an iPhone. The data finishes on time, but at least on Android, it's still manageable. But an iPhone user, no.
The digital world is here, but how many Nigerians can truly afford to be part of it? The cost of data isn't just about Naira and Kobo. It's about access, equality, and the future. Let's push for a Nigeria where everyone can connect without going broke.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Falconets crush Ghana in Wafobi on the 20 opener. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this. Please stay with us. Back from that short break in business, the federal government is negotiating a fresh $500 million World Bank loan under the FinCloud project to expand access to finance for small and medium enterprises. According to a document obtained from the World Bank, the facility aims to mobilize private capital, support innovative, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, products, and strengthen institutions like the Development Bank of Nigeria. The project, expected to be approved in December, will modernize the MSME finance ecosystem and boost long-term growth. Behind every scene, story and screen in the Nollywood lies a powerful force shaping the nation's image and inspiring millions. Prominent Nigerian filmmakers say the film industry is not just about entertainment, but vital drive of national growth and social change. Ubong Usoro reports.
At a recent creative festival in Abuja, Nigerian filmmakers shared how storytelling through film can serve as a tool for promoting cultural values, creating employment, and giving voice to the everyday struggles and hope of Nigerians.
It's important that we begin to look at how the Nigerian film industry, especially the Nigerian film industry, must begin to use film as a tool of passing national messages. It's important at this point in time that we must begin to cultivate in our films, at the point of scripting, when we are preparing the scripting, we must also begin to think of nation building. How do we build our nation?
Also speaking, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Creative Economy, Temitope Ajayi, said the president recognizes the important role that film plays in shaping national narratives and remains committed to supporting the sector through favorable policies and initiatives.
Of course, you know that the federal government is supporting the creative industry, the growth, and that is why when President Tinubu assumed office about more than 2 years ago, he created a whole ministry to drive his policy agenda on creative economy. So today we have the Federal Ministry of Art, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy.
Veteran actor and producer Francis Duro explained that movies have the power to change mindsets, inspire unity, and spark conversations around national issues such as corruption, gender equality, and youth empowerment.
Our cultural heritage today, the level of cultural diplomacy you have in Nigeria today, it started in the film. You go to Kenya, you get to all of this, you say Igwe, they know the Nigerian dress, they know the Nigerian philosophy and ideology from the films we have done. So when you talk about cultural identity, you're talking about the people's culture, a people's history, philosophy, their couture, their cuisine, and everything. And this is what film is doing. This is what film has come to do, not only in Nigeria, but Africa.
With a strong government support through funding, training, and infrastructure, stakeholders believe the industry can reach its full potential. Ubon Usoro for Global Television.
Police have arrested opposition party chairman Deputy Secretary General Amani Golugwa and named 9 others wanted in connection with post-election violence that left hundreds dead. The unrest followed elections in which President Samia Suluhu Hassan won earlier 98% of the vote, prompting claims of widespread repression. Over 140 people have been charged with treason as international concern mounts over the crisis. Hundreds of volunteers from Greenpeace Africa have formed a giant human banner in the shape of the African continent, displaying a printed message that reads, "Tax the super rich for people and planets to demand urgent tax reform at the United Nations Tax Convention negotiation." The gathering welcomed negotiations in Nairobi, Kenya, at the United Nations Tax Convention, calling for action to deliver much needed additional public finance for climate mitigation, nature protection, and sustainable development by making billionaires and oil and gas corporations pay their tax share in taxes. Agbomofuegbe completes the report.
Frederick Njehu, Fair Share Global Political Lead at Greenpeace Africa, says concerted and deliberate efforts must be made to stop the world's billionaires who exploit the environment to enrich themselves, leaving catastrophic pollution in their trail.
The world is facing a broken tax system that is very unfair, that only favors the super rich and also favors the OECD, a few countries, rich countries, whereas the global south, the African countries, are not benefiting from the existing tax rules. And that's why we are talking about correcting these misnomers and having tax rules that are fair, that are just, that are also able to tax the super rich and also taxing the polluters who are causing the climate crisis.
Njehu further stated that the 1% of the world's population, those who control enormous resources across various sectors, need to be held accountable to ensure that countries in the global south do not suffer unfair economic disadvantages.
When you talk about the super rich, we are looking at a small 1% of the global, wealthy people who have, their own corporations, they control the wealth, and also they control the means of production. And these are the people who have not been paying their fair share of the taxes, and they have been paying very little. But if you look at the middle class, then the upper and the middle class have been paying quite a lot of taxes. They have to shoulder the tax burden. But the 1%, the super rich, are finding ways of not paying taxes.
It is estimated that countries lose $492 billion annually because multinational corporations and the ultra-wealthy use tax havens to underpay tax. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
And in sports, Nigerians Falconets have defeated Ghana 3-1 in India opening match of the WAFU B under 20 Girls Cup in Benin Republic. Jeanette scored twice in the first half, while Favour Chiamaka sealed the win lead on to secure a commanding start for the defending champions. The Falconets face host Benin Republic next, seeking to maintain their lead in the regional competition. A wave of excitement swept through the University of Jos as the 27th edition of the Nigerian University Games officially opened, drawing athletics dignitaries from across the country. Global Television sports correspondent Samuel Odi reports.
The opening ceremony, marked by cultural display, signals the beginning of what promises to be a week of intense sporting action and youth celebration. Declaring the games open, the governor of Plateau State welcomed participants to the home of peace and tourism, assuring them of the state's readiness to host a peaceful and memorable event.
On this note, sincerely thank all that have made these games a reality, and I'm hopeful that by the end, the closing ceremony of these games, we'll all be happy that we came to Jos.
Also speaking, the chairman of University of Jos Governing Council, Senator Grace Folashade, commended the Noga Council for choosing UniJos as host, describing it as a vote of confidence in the institution's growing reputation.
We see the values that strengthens nations. Teamwork, perseverance, respect and fair play. These virtues transcend the field of play and prepare our young people to become responsible citizens and visionary leaders in every sphere of our life.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Tanko Ishia, in his remarks expressed gratitude to the state government and sponsors for unwavering support, pledging that the university would deliver a world-class event.
This gathering today encapsulates our belief that sports remain not only a unifying force, but also a platform for nurturing discipline, teamwork, and leadership among the youth. A value that is central to the mission of the University of Jos.
The special guest of honor, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State, applauded the role of university sport in national integration and talent discovery, urging the athletes to compete fairly and uphold the spirit of sportsmanship.
Events of this nature create spaces where young Nigerians meet, not as a representative of competing ethnic groups, but as fellow students pursuing common goals and aspirations. Today, the university graduates both in learning and in character.
As the 27th Nuga Games flame burns bright in Jos, over 5,000 athletes will try for glory across various sporting disciplines, a celebration of youth unity and power of sports to shape the future. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
As Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News Express, the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared incumbent Governor Chukwuma Soludo of the All Progressives Grand Alliance winner of the Anambra 2025 governorship election. In business, the federal government is negotiating a fresh $500 million World Bank loan under the FinCloud project to expand access to finance for small and medium enterprises. On foreign scene, Tanzanian police have arrested opposition Deputy Secretary General Amani and named 9 others wanted in connection with post-election violence that left hundreds dead. And in sports, Nigerian Falconets have defeated Ghana 3-1 in their opening match of the WAFU Under-20 Girls Cup in Benin Republic. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and Star Times, channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using that Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.